Hello, this is John again. This is number 2 in the series of wet on wet watercolor techniques. So I hope you like it. At the end of the video you should find a link going to the first one if you've missed it, and the third one which comes next. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 in the wet on wet painting. If you missed the part 1 where I did this, then check at the end of this video. You should see a link to it. Okay, so we've done basically we wet the paper, we put the paint on, we let the paint run, and that's in the sky and the mountain. Then we let the paint run down into the area where we want water, and then we let the paint run up a bit by tilting the board with as you go, really. And you really have to do this whole section in 5 minutes before the paper dries too much. Now the paper's pretty much dry now, so we'll move on. So now we're starting to do some detail into it over the top. And let's start with the mountain. You want a light side. Obviously the light's coming here, so the shadow sides are going to be this side. So we can start adding in some shadow down that side of the mountain. And just keep lifting your brush off of the paper so you don't get a solid mark. You get little little marks that are trailing down the mountain, if you like. You can bring them back in here. If something's too strong, just clean your brush on a bit of paper, take out the excess water and just blend it in. You're trying to get the feeling that there's, rocks in the far distance and the gullies and ledges in the mountain. Don't have your brush too wet because it'll flood, and you don't really need to flood anything now. We've done that on the first one. So we're tailing them off, natural shapes leading in the right sort of direction, and we're leaving this side pretty much light. Come down here almost down to the water's edge. You don't have to do it all in one go. In fact it's probably best if you don't. I've just cleaned my brush. There's a tiny bit of water on it. I'm just fading this out. It will actually drop back anyway, the colour, as it dries. So you can build, and then you can leave that area and come back to it and put another layer on top of that one. So you've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers, keep going. If you want something in the distance, you might want this one to be darker here, just so that it feels like it's behind this mountain. Okay, you can work on that. So you've got the water's edge now. So we're looking for a darkish colour that we can put down here. We're going to put, again, lift off all the time. Put that in. There are two things you could have done here, which I didn't do, but I've got a bit of water now, just dragging it into the main area of water, blending it as you go so that it's not so obvious. There's two things that you can do. When you did the first layer, the wet on wet, you could, as you got to the water part, leave a little white line which will look like you know, a light source on the far side of the lake, which is quite nice. You can take one out if you've got a nice fairly stiff brush. You can actually, when this is dry, you can go along with this stiff brush and just clean water and then blot, and it will lift off to a degree. What you don't want to do is put white paint on. That just wouldn't work really. Not in a watercolor anyway. Acrylics, yeah, you know. So you're trying to confuse the eye all the time. The eye, the person who's looking at it. So they believe what they see when really it's just a few marks. Okay, so you've got that. You can put in water shadows across this. And again, to keep it light so you don't cause yourself problems. Yeah. And you don't want it all over, obviously. But you can build slowly forward. You've got texture here now. You're starting to get a bit of texture in here. You don't want to lose the good bit things like the reflection in there. And then the part down here, the ground, which is obviously much closer. If you've got an old brush that's knackered, don't throw it away. You know, they're invaluable. You can load it with some paint, and I hope you can see this. You can just dibble. Great word. I don't know if it exists or not. Sometimes you need to check first, like if you've got some paint on your brush and you don't want any big blobs, so you just try it on there on a bit of pad, and then if it's okay, you can add it to your painting. I'll leave some of these light areas here. I can paint in some shapes in some rocks. And you take that back up into the water. Okay, so now we've started putting texture in there. We've started putting some tone in there. We've started putting some texture on the ground in the front. It's still very boom, 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 you know, but we'll move on. So this is as far as I think I'm going to go with this on this thing. I'm going to leave this to dry and then check in the end of this video for the next video, so that you can see how it progresses as we go along. Okay then, right, I'll see you soon. Oh, one thing, yeah, while we're at it, just a little teaser, a tempter, if you like. If you're going to put boats or anything in here, this is the shape you need. It's a flattened 8. Okay, and I'll show you in the next, probably not the next video, I'm not sure yet, but see how far we get, how to turn that into a boat. Okay, right, okay, for now, take care, see you soon. Whoops.